Whoa. And now, for your entertainment enjoyment, we're going to sing. Actually, we're not. Would you mind if I took off my jacket? Would that be all right? Would that offend anybody? I was going to tell you guys, I speak a lot publicly, and I'm normally not nervous at all. But I have to tell you, talking with you all I was very nervous. And the reason is because I'm in front of people who really know. You know, I can talk about this industry, I can talk about things with people who don't know, but when you get a room full of people who know, they're the toughest audience in the world, because they can look right through you if you're not serious and sincere. So I got a little warm. I had to take my shirt off, my coat off. Okay, we'll do Q&A with you all, if you mind. We have, what do we have, probably a half hour or more? So we've got roving mics around here. So if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand, and you can address it to any one of the three of us, or you can throw it out and we'll all take a stab at it.
My name's Stan Chapman. I've been out here for 30 years, and you talk about trust. So one of the things last year when we finally went back to a 5-day work week, the board of directors gave you guys more money on your bonuses. You know, and that was a big morale letdown in the factory, because we worked just as hard to earn our money, but yet the board felt bad for you guys as the board, and they gave you more money. When, yeah, we have a performance point out there of 12%. Most of the industries, I think, somewhere around 9. You know, to me, it would have been better off if you would have stood up and said, well, no, I'm not going to take that money for the viable of the company. And a lot of people out here were hurt on our side because we felt that we were snubbed, because we went through a 3-day work week and we lost a lot as far as wages to help the company out. You know, because we've got a lot of members, we've got a lot of employees out here making $14, $15 an hour. And going to a 3-day work week, they had a hard time surviving. You know, myself, I've been here for 30 years. It didn't hurt me. But, you know, you talk about trust. That's one of those things that people want to know in the future. What will you do as far as being trustful to the employees?
That's a great question. Thank you for having the courage to ask it. You know, Dick's on the comp committee, and he did that, so I'm going to let This is a bit of a complex area, but I will just tell you this. If you go back and look at executive compensation at Spirit, you'll see a couple things. A lot of us bought into the company, actually wrote checks. Frankly, some of our investment analysts, some of our investment counselors told us not to. Said the risk was too high. We'd lose our money. Turned out it's been a good investment. Big piece of I'll just talk my personal compensation. It's out there for the whole world to know. A very big piece of my personal compensation is at risk every year. My base salary is less than a quarter of my compensation package. 2009, we didn't perform. My incentive part of my pay was 0. So I took a 75+% pay cut. I'm not complaining. I get paid. I volunteer every day to get up and come in here for what I'm getting paid. I think the board looked at what happened to us in 2008 was the year we did. Thought we had done some things really well to manage a very difficult situation. realize that a big piece of our pay is at risk, and very little of that was going to be paid. And so instead of saying, I apologize, I don't remember the numbers, but instead of saying you all get 20% of your incentive, which is a piece of our compensation pay, we're going to pay you more than that. I forget what the number was, 40, 50, whatever the number was, of the part at risk. The net of all that is the executive team, the management team, took home less of their base compensation package than if it had all been fixed. So part of what we're talking about is we talked with Tom, we've talked with different people in the IAM. We got to get a lot better at really understanding what the pieces of the compensation package are, what drives it, and be clear. I have really thin skin. Tom's told me I have way too thin a skin. But
this happened though. This was during the strike time.
The Boeing strike time, yeah. But yeah, one thing I will say, I will defend, maybe not to the death, but close, till I'm almost dead, that what we did during the 2 Boeing strike periods was absolutely the right thing to do. I mean, I've been in this business a long time, and I personally think that 3/4 of or 2/3 of a great job versus 0 is a no-brainer. And just let me tell you, it cost the company money. It cost the shareholders money, what we did. We are not as efficient and effective on a 3-day work week, and we did some things wrong on it. We need to get better at it if we ever have to do it again. Hope we don't, but if we ever do. But the bottom line is the financial minds of the world said, just shut everything down, stop in place, send everybody home, and when Boeing comes back to work, then you start back up. That's the least costly way to do it. And I said no. And Buck said no, and John and the team said no. We're not going to do that. That's putting all the pain of a situation people can't control on them. So what I'd really love to do is have us all on a system that triggers or doesn't trigger, rather than you guys are on a different system. You got one that you got to trigger at 12%. And I mean, that's something we can talk about in negotiations. Tom, did you want to?